Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, we're going to be walking you through the next week of weather across the United States and Canada and talk about the tropics as there's a system to watch across the North Atlantic Ocean as we get closer towards next weekend. If you are new to the channel and have not yet subscribed and like detailed weather breakdowns across North America, including the tropics, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free and you get all these weather forecasts right here on this channel. And also be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps out more than you know. So going over the past 3 days, we saw a rather significant storm system moving across the Midwest into the Great Lakes region and then toward the East Coast. And it did drop a rather healthy swath of rainfall from the northern plains through the Midwest and into the southern Great Lakes region over the past 3 days. We also saw some very heavy rains across the southeast, setting up from Alabama into central Georgia, especially into South Carolina and northern Florida, especially there as well, where we did pick up several inches of rainfall accumulation. But the northern system here did produce some impressive totals over the past 3 days, and especially northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota. We saw areas of 4, 5, even 6 inches of rain. Some of that extended over into northwest Iowa, southwestern Minnesota, and then sliding it over into the midwestern regions. That did move into eastern Iowa, much of the state of Wisconsin, especially southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and getting into northwestern Indiana. We saw some very heavy rainfall with a widespread swath of 1 to 3 inches, if not locally higher amounts than that, over the past 3 days. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this is actually going to help significantly improve our drought up across the Midwest. So you see areas in the oranges, the reds, the maroon reds. Yeah, that's severe, extreme, and exceptional drought. But by the next drought monitor that comes out on this Thursday, I do expect to see some significant improvements in these areas here, with a lot of this extreme and possibly even severe drought going away and actually improving back to a moderate drought across this region. So that is expected later on this week with the release of the drought monitor. But waking up this morning, it is chilly. You're rightfully so. If you're, heading out the door and wearing a jacket and pants this morning, rightfully so, because it is cool out there. Temperatures across the northern tier of the United States are in the 30s and 40s, even southern Canada up here, middle and upper 30s. So very chilly out the door this morning. So make sure to bundle up out there if you are heading out the door. Through today, very quiet weather pattern across North America, really across the lower 48. It is going to be hard pressed to find any raindrops across the region here. Maybe some rainfall up there toward the Seattle region, up there toward Vancouver into portions of Canada. Maybe a couple of sprinkles or showers into Quebec and Ontario and around the Great Lakes regions there. But other than that, we're just not seeing a lot of precipitation. High pressure is in firm control across the middle of the country today, and we'll take it after a very miserable few days and gloomy days and rainfall up here for the Midwest. Even though we did need it, I know it was very cloudy for the past few days, so it's nice to see the sunshine again. But we are tracking a new storm system as we head through the week, so let's talk about that here for a minute. You can see on Monday that storm system is gathering some steam across the Pacific Northwest and southwestern Canada there, especially into British Columbia. We'll start to see more rain showers and thunderstorm activity up there. And then over the top of that ridge, that is where we're going to see that low pressure system reside. That's going to slide through Alberta, getting into southern Saskatchewan, into the Dakotas region by Tuesday. And then by midweek, this will be stretching over into the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes region as we have that ridge in firm control out west with drier conditions there on the backside of that storm system later this week. And overall this week, even with that storm system coming in, we're not going to see as much rainfall with this system as we saw with the last one. There will be areas that do see some heavier rain than others, especially up here into the Pacific Northwest, especially the Seattle region down toward Portland, Oregon. Far northwestern California could be picking up a couple inches of rain there. Very heavy rains up toward the Vancouver region there into the British Columbia area could be picking up several inches of rainfall accumulation, over 4 inches there. But look at the dry slot across the Pacific Southwest, the Great Plains, the lower Mississippi Valley. Very dry, bone dry, in fact, this week. That system is going to move up and over that ridge, and where we see it rain out, it's not going to be producing a lot of rainfall, likely seeing a quarter of an inch to up to 3/4 of an inch. And then as we get into the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and parts of the southeast, we may start to see pockets of around an inch of rain, but even that is not that impressive, especially with just looking at the past storm system. So looking at the temperatures this week, though, we are going to see more fall-like air with temperatures into the 50s there. Pretty uniform-like temperatures across the United States and southern Canada here on Monday. Then as we go into Wednesday, ahead of that system, we'll start to warm up as we have a little bit more southerly flow out ahead of that cold front. That will send temperatures up into the 60s and 70s, possibly some 80s down there, even into West Texas by Wednesday. And then later on in the week, the cold front will move through. And like we've seen with the past couple of systems, we'll see another brief shot of cooler air. Temperatures for highs will be in the upper 40s to 50s out there. But we will start to see warmer air by Friday across Texas Hill Country and the southern plains. In fact, zooming it in here, the Waco region up toward Dallas, getting down towards San Antonio, Houston, Corpus Christi, you name it. We'll be getting up into the upper 80s to low 90s, possibly pushing 94, 95 degrees or so as we go into Friday there. So a little bit hotter of a day if you live there into central Texas. And this is actually the feedback from the drought. We have extreme and exceptional drought down here, and drier ground is a lot easier to warm up than a wetter ground is. So that is why temperatures for this time of year will be well above normal into the 90s because of that dry ground and that ongoing significant drought across Texas and over into Louisiana on Friday. But as we go through the long-term period toward the end of October, getting closer to the Halloween time frame, we will see that ridge kind of remain locked in place across the middle of the country. That will be providing us with above normal temperatures, really centered on the southern plains here. So, and that is going to be feedback again from that drought. Warmer temperatures because of the drier conditions in the soil there as we get closer to Halloween. We are keeping an eye on some active weather that could be setting up here or there starting later next weekend and going through the following weekend right before Halloween there on the 28th. And you can see that setting up across the Rockies, parts of the western plains there, possibly even into southern California, southern Nevada, getting some rainfall there. Will we be drying out across the East Coast and portions of the Ohio Valley, Southeast Tennessee Valley, Mid-Atlantic? Those areas will be much drier toward the end of October. Well, let's turn over to the tropics. We got something to talk about here. The National Hurricane Center has a 90% chance of development, which is very likely over the next few days to become our next named system. You can see it's already gathering steam as it moves off into the main development region here from Africa towards the Lesser Antilles. Now, it does have quite a ways to go, but it is organizing very nicely here. And you can see by Monday, we're already lowering the pressures out here, probably talking about a tropical depression at this point by Monday. And then as we go into Wednesday, probably either a depression still or even a lower end tropical storm is likely, especially with these warmer waters out here on Wednesday. And then this will be approaching the Lesser Antilles, possibly even portions of Puerto Rico towards next weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Looking at the ensemble guidance, this is the EPS ensemble members, and you can see there's multiple members on here. And where you see these brighter yellows, oranges, and reds just showing where the center of low pressure could be, they all have different opinions and they're all different members. And you can see it's as far north as over the open waters or as far west and southwest as the Lesser Antilles, getting directly impacted by this central area of low pressure here by either Friday or Saturday later this week and on towards next weekend. So something to keep an eye on there. And then from there and toward next weekend, it spreads out a little bit as we go further out in time. Obviously, the more there will be uncertainty, but you do see that there is a little bit of a spread. But most of these members are kind of clustering up around the Puerto Rico area and portions of the northern Lesser Antilles by next Saturday and Sunday. So this is a trend to keep an eye on through the week, but we have to keep an eye on this because these waters are very warm. We've been talking about this all hurricane season long here. These warm waters have not gone anywhere, and they have stayed sustainable with very strong warmth over the past several weeks, and this does continue through its path. So the entirety of the path of this storm, wherever it goes, whether it misses the islands and moves up toward Bermuda again and moves into the Caribbean, wherever it goes, it's going to have warm waters. So it doesn't matter. The system will need to be watched as we get closer toward the end of October. And the hurricane season is not even close to being done yet. We still have to get through the rest of October here, through the entire month of November, and even into early December before we can say goodbye finally to the 2023 hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean. So we still have a ways to go. So we still need to be vigilant if you live into the Caribbean, the Atlantic, or the Gulf of Mexico, and even the Eastern Pacific side as well for some tropical activity as we go through the rest of the next couple of months. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like today's video, make sure to give it a like down below by giving it a thumbs up. Share this video on social media and with friends, family, and whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, make sure to share this video on social media to help get the word out. Lots of great information here, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Sunday out there.